And we're back with Kirk in his academy days, just in case you still had any respect left for him. You know, one of the things that have often been alluded to with Kirk's sexuality is flying around the galaxy making out with the green women. Well, they've made that a reality. That's not the bad part. It's fine if he wants to make out with the green women. It's what follows that's the problem. She shoos him under the bed to keep her roommate from finding out that he's there. And it turns out that the roommate is Uhura, and as she starts taking off her clothes, our hero, the man who stood up for the values and principles of the Federation, is craning his head to get a better look at her in her underwear. At which point, Jason Biggs and Sean William Scott burst in, waving an oversized sex toy. After Uhura discovers our peeping Tom hero and kicks him out, we get to see him taking the Kobayashi Maru, where perhaps now he can recover somewhat, now that he's in the captain's chair.
We are receiving a distress signal from the USS Kobayashi Maru. The ship has lost power and it's stranded. Starfleet Command has ordered us to rescue them.
Starfleet Command has ordered us to rescue them, Captain.
Way to show how ready you are for that chair. The power certainly hasn't gone to your head at all, has it? I've said before that Kirk has this confidence that borders on arrogance, which is what lets him get the impossible done. The Kobayashi Maru and his triumph over it has always been a sign of that attitude within him, that Kirk will change the rules of the game if it comes down to it, so that he and his people will win the day. The difference between him and the Kirk that we have in front of us here is that this Kirk has confidence that bursts into full-blown arrogance. And that is to be expected. This Kirk hasn't yet faced life on a starship, hasn't served at the tactical post of the Farragut, where the lives of the crew and the success of the mission would both depend on his swiftness of action in a crisis, while not doing so when diplomacy might still be an option. This Kirk hasn't yet had to lead a planetary survey mission where the fate of a whole world could be decided by how he conducts himself. This Kirk was never helpless before the dichoronium cloud that killed 200 of his shipmates, including the captain, and nearly killed Kirk himself, and left him wondering whether he could have done something to stop it. Kirk's in there. It's still raw. So yeah, Kirk comes across as a bit of a douchebag, but made it to part 2 without saying it. But at this point, you expect him to be that way. It takes life's experiences to make the things necessary to keep confidence from going to overconfidence, of the difference between courage and foolhardiness. This Kirk hasn't yet learned all of that, and that's fine. He will once time has shaped him from where he is now to where he will be. So Kirk cheats, reprogramming the simulation, so rather than become overwhelmed by all this, they can casually destroy the Klingons and rescue the Kobayashi Maru, all while eating an apple. When I talked with Confused Matthew in that discussion that I referred to earlier, he said, "Didn't he look arrogant doing that?" I said, No, that was a callback to Star Trek 2. It was a subtle little thing for the fans there. Well, I listened to the director's commentary, and some people say that this is a callback. No, we put it in there because we thought it would look good. Oh, well, silly me for defending this film, huh? So much for that. Anyway, Kirk is the only one who has ever passed this thing and received a commendation for original thinking based on what we heard in Star Trek 2.
James T. Kirk, step forward.
Okay, is this about the cheating thing, the peeping Tom thing, or that cockfight I'm running out of the dean's office at night? He and Spock debate as to whether or not Kirk was right to be able to cheat the test, since the test cheats by not permitting you to win. In other words, like many gamers have learned, sometimes the AI is deliberately unfair and you need a mod or two if you want to play it fairly, or in Kirk's case, in God mode. Before he can apparently manage to talk his way out of a suspension and into a commendation, a message comes in that Nero's attacking Vulcan, and with the ships out of position once again, they must now equip the ships that they do have with cadets to go check it out. They're not actually aware that Nero's attacking. They think it's just some kind of disaster that needs to be sorted out. Everyone gets their assignments, but Uhura is not happy with getting the Farragut over the new flagship.
Commander, a word?
Yes, Lieutenant?
Was I not one of your top students?
Indeed you were.
And did I not, on multiple occasions, demonstrate an exceptional oral sensitivity?
My penis did send your lips that birthday card, yes. Spock gives in and reassigns her to the Enterprise so we can keep enjoying that oral sensitivity. And speaking of sensitive, let's check back in with young Kirk. He's grounded until the board rules, but McCoy has an idea. What if I give you some really bad symptoms, and then I can bring you on board the ship as a patient? Sure, it's a bit different, like instead of flying Air Force One, you get to take care of the First Lady's 8 yapping dogs, but at least you're on the plane. You're just stuck dealing with a lot of dog shit. Still, he does get a chance to see the new flagship up close, the brand new, nearly half-mile-long Enterprise, NCC-17. Kiss my ass! Let's power up the ship. If If they were any more inside a computer, Spock would have to change his live long and prosper to I fight for the users. Well, time to take this badass supersized ship out to see what she can do. I swear, this has never happened to me before. So, Harold, must have a lot of experience to be the helmsman of the flagship, huh? That's why Spock needs to remind him how to actually fly the damn thing. Whoops. Luckily, Sulu's boo-boo has just saved all their lives, so nice Obi-Wan thing there. Okay, so what's actually wrong? Oh, sure enough, yeah. Looks like someone tried jailbreaking the Enterprise. They should have known better. They get underway, but they'll need help from
Ensign Chekhov, Pavel Andreevich, sir.
this prepubescent Count Chocula. All the things updated and they kept the bad Russian accent?
Ensign authorization code 95 Victor 2.
I know Chekhov Prime did that. It was part of the kitsch. If they're turning the ship into the I Enterprise because they want to modernize it, how come he can't pronounce a V unless he's speaking his own name? So, what job are you giving him anyway, Pike?
At 2200 hours, telemetry detected an anomaly in the neutral zone.
Ah, of course. The guy with an accent so thick it can deflect small arms fire is the guy you have fill everyone in on critical mission information. It is important that under no circumstances do you Dushalea or severe death or injury could occur. Especially avoid the Kerflesha, no matter how much Brishala there is or Lushaza may happen. No matter what happens to the goldfish. But Kirk does manage to come around enough from his earlier sedation by McCoy, aware of what the lightning storm that he actually does mention could mean. The seriousness of this threat cannot be ignored. No matter what might be happening to his extremities. Look, it happens, Kirk. At first they're hot in the sack, but eventually they put on weight and lose their appeal, right? He recalls what Uhura said about an attack on the Klingons while he was watching her strip down to her bra and panties, so Little Orphan Handy heads down to confirm that there were Romulan signals at the time. With that info, he storms the bridge and explains his belief that this is actually an attack.
That same anomaly, a lightning storm in space that we saw today, also occurred on the day of my birth.
And my conception, but then my dad was Thor, so that was kind of expected. With Uhura backing up his facts, Spock's inclined to believe him, but the best possible proof is showing up here, waiting for the collectors to ambush him. Luckily we got Mr. I Forgot to Turn the Ship On at the helm, who manages to evade a lot of... Oh, crap, I think we may have needed that. They prepare for combat, but Nero recognizes the Enterprise and instead will speak to him directly, the aggrieved, vengeful man possessing of a hate that will snuff out whole worlds until his quest for justice has been satisfied.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
So, like, how am I avenging myself on you? It's, like, way cool, am I right? You're supposed to be wreaking a just vengeance upon them, Nero. You're not responding to an online dating service. He wants Pike to come over just like he did with Captain Blueshirt at the beginning. Probably a death sentence again. But with the Narada outmatching the Enterprise, it's the only option. Besides shooting that huge skinny laser drill that's blocking communication and weapons, of course. But I much prefer the going over and possibly getting stabbed in the chest option. Also, we'll send down some men in bright color-coded suits to try to take it out by hand. Who will it be?
I need officers who've been trained in advanced hand-to-hand combat.
I have training, sir.
Don't you have any security officers on board? You're not only taking the pilot, he's actually the backup pilot, so you're going to put the backup pilot in charge during this... Oh, never mind. Look, yeah, we'll just send down two main characters in a red shirt. I wonder how this will end. Pretty quick and clean for a red shirt. He should be grateful. Kirk and Sulu are soon on there, ready to fight it out with the Romulans. Ah, collapsing sword. Well, that's really something. Based on the technology, it makes George Jetson's car work, I think. He manages to do something that Sulu wasn't allowed to do in Star Trek VI. He gets to save Kirk. And in accordance with the rules of fiction, no matter how you die, if you are high up, you always wind up falling over the edge.
Bolton had the charges! I know!
Probably shouldn't have given him to the crazy guy, huh? They managed to shut down the drill, but not before it managed to reach the core in defiance of physics. But we can forgive that because nothing's compared to what's about to happen after Nero's maple seed of doom is dropped into the hole. Seems that one little drop of red matter is all it takes to create a black hole that can consume the whole planet. They were committed to avoiding the cliches of technobabble in this film, and they've done it. Now they just have crazy shit happen and don't even pretend there's a reason for it. Yeah, I got this out of a barrel of insto-singularity. No idea how it works. Oh, and look at this. They also gave me a hole I can throw onto the floor or the wall if I want to, and this giant mallet with a boxing glove that comes flying out. Spock plans to beam down to recover his family and the Vulcan leadership, so he leaves Chekhov in command. But when Sulu and Kirk are left man-hugging in freefall, Chekhov takes off, since the transporter chiefs are so unskilled that the 17-year-old kid working in an entirely different department can do their job better than they can. So he goes skittering down there and manages to catch them and eliminate their momentum so that they can land safely on the pad. You said it. Whatever the hell you just said. So Spock beams down and arrives with the bad news. But don't worry, he's here to save you all. Except for that guy. We never really liked him. And you. I don't know who you were, but I bet you were a jerk. They get outside, but... oh boy. Well, luckily a guy who knows how to transport falling people is at the controls. Oh crap, he's out of quarters. What do you have to say for yourself, Transporter Chief? I hope it's good because I was on bridge this whole time.